Hello and welcome to another show with The Money Honey, the show that brings you women in property, finance, and construction. I'm trying to create a place of empowerment and I want to give a voice and light to women who I've fallen in love with in the industry, who I've met through social media or at networking events. And I just feel like women don't speak up enough. Okay. So here I am shoving a camera and a mic in their face, making sure that they actually put themselves out there. Some of these women are already doing so. They're already being brave enough and actually sharing something with the world on social media, and they're putting themselves out there. And I want to congratulate them and give them that recognition by bringing them on the show so that you too can gain that confidence and that support that you need. So perhaps you're getting ready for work or you're on your commute to work and you're thinking, I don't really want to speak up in that meeting, or, oh, every time I say something, I don't really get taken seriously. This is the place to get that education under your belt, to get that voice in your head to quieten down. And we need to raise the volume with these women who are bringing just so much value. And speaking of sassy monohunters, I am bringing on the show Siobhan Brookes, who is the owner, founder, co-founder of Folan Brokers. And I'm just so excited to see her. I'm so excited to share her news and to share her journey on social media in particular. So let's bring her on the show. Hello, how are you doing, Siobhan?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? And thank you so much for inviting me on.
Oh, we've had a little glitch. Sorry, go on, go again. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you? And thank you so much for inviting me on.
Honestly, thank you for saying yes, because I know you're a busy person and I know you've got a lot to do. So I really do appreciate you making time for this. I know what it's like running a brokerage and, dealing with clients, especially during this time of year. So I know you've got a lot on your plate. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it is a busy time of year. We didn't know what to expect, coming into sort of January this year. But yeah, it's busy. But no, it's an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. So I actually met you. Obviously, you must have been following. This is a bit spooky story, but you must have been following me on social media because obviously I'm putting myself out there and everything. And then I went to a networking event in Oxford, run by another just absolutely phenomenal woman. She's already been on the show before. So if anyone has listened to the episode with Michelle Niziol, so she runs a networking group in Oxford, and I attended. It's called the Empowering Entrepreneur. So I drove quite a way, so about 2 hours to get there. But that's because I know her, love her, and I wanted to be part of that atmosphere. And the first person I speak to, I sit down at the table. It's really nerve wracking. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't, there's loads of people here. I do get nervous as well. And then you sit in front of me and you're like, are you Rosalia? And I was like, what? Who are you? I was just so nervous. I was like, why do you know me? I'm in Oxford. I'm 2 hours away from home. I have no idea who you are. And then, yeah, this is such a small world.
Oh, honestly, I was so nervous going into that networking event. I think it might have been International Women's Day.
Oh, yes,
I
it
think it
was.
might have been. Because I was like, I'm going to wear pink because it's
Yes.
International Women's Day. And then it came to sitting down at the tables, and I was like, that's Rosalia. I went, I'm going to go and say hello. So, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I follow you on social media. And you couldn't believe it. You were a bit blown away. And, but yes, I did, because I wanted to start putting myself out there on social media and had already started doing that. I was looking to see what else is around, who's doing things for mortgage brokers. And of course, you popped up quite a few times. So I had been following you on my personal Instagram as well as my, business Instagram. And so I was just so excited to sort of see you. And then I thought, oh my God, I can like actually see you and touch you in person and
I know.
brains.
That was really spooky for me because I had built my business and my brand awareness through lockdown and in the middle of a pandemic. So I didn't really see the real effects of what that or how much impact that was making. So I could only see the likes, So, if I'd get 20 likes, 50 likes, 1,000 likes, for me, that was the response or that was the feedback. Obviously, people would message me privately, etc. But it wasn't until I started going out there again to events and networking, and I started going to industry events, that I'd be getting out of a taxi. And oh gosh, I'm really, oh my God, I hate this. I feel like I sound like Kim Kardashian or something. I do not want the fame. I am not doing it for the fame. If anyone's listening to this, it's just because financial services is small. It's not that I'm a big fish in a big sea. I'm really just a small part of financial services, but the industry's so connected, isn't it? And everyone knows each other. But yeah, that really spooked me. And then that made me just realize the power of consistency and the social media, how you may not see the immediate effects, but people are watching, people are seeing you. And now you're putting yourself out there. So let's just talk about that. How did you make that jump and what are you doing? What's your strategy?
Well, so setting up Folan Brookes Financial Consultants, we did that during lockdown as well. So Thomas and I are brother and sister, and we had been in a previous practice for many, many years, about 16 odd years. But we could see that the industry was changing. We could see that the generations were sort of, looking online for advice. They were really interested in their money and what was happening with it. And we knew that we needed to kind of get ahead and get ourselves out there. So we're setting up Folan Brookes. That was one of the top things. I'd seen, funnily enough, it was years ago with the body coach when he started doing all these videos, and I was really into my fitness at the time, and I thought, wow, he's putting all this fitness information out there in really short videos. And I thought, fitness and finance I find are quite connected as well. It's all about consistency. It's about taking your time, and you'll get there to the end goal rather than quick results. And then, so that when we were setting up, I thought, right, we need to do something with video. It has to be video. I'd seen a few other things online, but we knew we wanted to target Instagram, and it was scary, and I hated doing it for that reason. It was putting yourself out there, which is really, really scary, and you don't know what reaction you're going to get. But I knew it was something that we had to do. And just the very first post as a business was just a photo of Thomas and I remember I posted it and took my children to the park and put my phone away and thought, right, just forget about it. And I don't know why I was so scared just posting, our business out there, but it was scary. And then I looked at my phone and thought, oh, it's okay, I've got a nice reaction. No one said anything horrible. And then it was like, right, we need to do a video. And yes, I did have to record about 1 million videos to get word in, because as soon as you put a camera in front of you, you forget everything and you can't think what to say. But it's got easier and easier. And I think because the reaction has been positive, and you start to almost kind of not forget that other people are watching it, but you kind of put it out there and think, okay, if someone takes something from this and learns something from this, I've done a good job. And some people will just scroll past, and that's absolutely fine. I'm happy with that. But if someone has picked up and taken something from it, then I've done a good job and I've done what I needed to do. And it's putting our branding out there and putting ourselves in front of people.
That's the attitude to have. That is exactly what you should be doing, because we can't control how people wake up. If they wake up in a good mood, in a bad mood, if they come from a good place, a bad place. We always say we can't please everybody. Yet suddenly when we look at social media, we all think, oh, we must please everybody. We want to be liked. Nobody's liked 1000% of the time. And that attitude is exactly what's going to keep you strong. Because I had a client who said, oh, I posted something the first time I posted something that was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and he said, if I look back, I'd say 99% of the reactions were really positive and 1% was actually quite negative. He goes, anyway, I ended up taking the post down because it was just too much. And I was like, hold on. So 99% of the population reacted positively, and you let that 1%, he the numbers were his, it wasn't me, I didn't make up the numbers. He specifically assessed his own post and said that only 1% of the people had reacted negatively to it. The keyboard warriors, just someone who had something to say just for the sake of saying it, and he took that post down. And this is the problem with anything, with fitness, with dieting, with financial services related posts. There's always going to be that 1% that doesn't agree, and we can't live our lives just for the 1%.
No,
There's no time for that.
absolutely. No, we can't. And it's putting yourself out there. And like you said, initially when I first started doing videos, I was a little bit concerned that people might think that, oh, she's looking for fame, or by putting yourself out there. Absolutely not. I don't want that at all. I'm doing it for the business, and to be able to reach as many people as possible. And it's a perfect opportunity. Everyone has a phone, they're on social media, so why not use it to your advantage and just get your message out there quicker and faster. I do it, I love all the face-to-face kind of networking and meeting clients. I absolutely love that, but we have to move with the times, and that is online. A lot of it is still online, and social media. So put yourself out there. And I think anyone, if you're worried or scared about it, there are so many people that are probably backing you and cheering you on rather than not. And you don't feel that at the time when you're posting it, because you feel really nervous and you feel like you're the only person doing it. But actually, if you're consistent and you continue to do it, and then you start to meet people and they mention it and they say, oh, I saw that post, oh, that was really helpful, or, that was fantastic, or I sent that on to my friend, or they get in contact with you to, after you've posted something. It's just such a great feeling to know that you've done something good and you're actually achieving what you'd set out to achieve. So
exactly that's it. I have nothing else to add to that, because you are inspirational, you're encouraging, you're giving practical top tips. I think that is noteworthy stuff that you've just said. If anyone's got pen and paper, jot this down, because I think, yes, it does start with that initial video and that confidence to just do your first video, just to do that first one. But then it is a mind game that you need to play, and you need to really assess your internal voice, which is, probably most people aren't seeing you. Because if I may say so, lots of people think that once that video goes out, they think the whole world is watching. We're not actually that important. Like, can I just say, there's like more than 3 million posts a day in any given day. What makes you think suddenly you've done your first video and that's it? It's going to be on, it's going to be trending. That's not how it works. If only it could work that easily, that your video would just go far and wide quickly, but it really doesn't. So the good news is it's probably going to take you a while to gain some traction. So get practicing. All your bad videos will not be remembered, because there's literally, most videos will only have an hour to 24-hour lifespan. You could have posted something today and tomorrow you can't even find it. Like, you'd have to physically go onto that profile to retrieve that video. So it's not going to last that long. So yeah, practice obviously makes, not perfect. I don't like saying practice makes perfect. I like saying practice makes progress. So just keep making progress. And you're a great example of that. So I want to switch the conversation now over to obviously the theme of the show, which is women in property and finance and construction. What is it like for you being a woman in this industry? It seems like you're, from the outside looking in, looks like you're owning it. To you, there's no gender difference. You're out there, you're putting yourself out there, you're running a really solid business. Like, what is it from your perspective? How do you feel in this space?
Right now, absolutely fantastic. I think it's an absolutely perfect time for women in this industry. We're still not where we should be, but we are so close and we are getting there. And compared to what it was like when I first entered the industry, and because I have been around for such a long time, so I was calculating it, and I keep knocking off the years now instead of adding them on. You know, when you first start out in the industry, you're like, oh, it's 4 years, 4.5 years I've been in it. But no, it's about 18 years plus that I've been in the industry. So so when I first started out, I was, you know, in my early 20s. I was working with a broker, and he was male, and he was, you know, very successful. So when he'd asked me to join him, I said, absolutely, but not as an administrator. I will start as an administrator. I want to be an advisor. So I wanted to make sure that I would have that career progression. So it was absolutely brilliant. I would go out on appointments and meetings with him. And even when I was qualified as an advisor and I was shadowing him on some appointments, I was referred to as a PA rather than an advisor. But I can only assume because I'm female. And also, even in some instances, the clients would shake his hand and not shake my hand. Now, it didn't happen very often, but it did happen. And I would be really taken aback because I kind of thought we're the same. What's the difference between me, apart from years, you know, experience? So there was that. So I did have to kind of overcome those barriers. But I just plowed through. I just thought, well, I don't see any different to a male or a female giving mortgage advice or protection advice. And actually, on the protection side of things, I think it was in my favour being female. For some reason, you know, I was received really well. But on the mortgage side, it was, you know, a few barriers to get through. But I kept going. But I do think it is hard for women in the financial industry, but not now. I think now this is the time. This is it. We're getting somewhere, and there are more and more female sort of leaders and females in, you know, practice principal roles and advisor roles. But still not quite enough. So the more of us that come out and sort of show ourselves and prove that it can be done, you can be a mum, you can be you know, business owner, a mortgage advisor, you can have a career and you can have a family. It's hard sometimes to get that balance and get it right, but you can do it. And we just need to keep proving that we can and keep going.
Yeah, I love that. I think this is exactly what this show is about. It's giving you guys a voice, giving us a voice. And by the way, there's not going to just be women on this show. There will be men on the show as well, because I have to say it, and we've all said it before, there is no men and women. There are men out there who are the biggest champions and cheerleaders for equality, right? For anybody. And there are women who can really slate another woman, right? They can really, you know, and that has happened to me. And you think, hold on a minute, what are you doing? Like, we already have enough battles out there. Like, we should be on the same page. And you'd be surprised, but there are some fishy, catty women out there, whatever you want to call it. So there is, for me, it's not like, oh, this show's just about the women and we're just the best. You know, it's just about I'm trying to rebalance that social, because basically this has all happened because someone on social media, on LinkedIn, started a post saying all the podcasts out there, there's just men. Now that's just an observation. I didn't even notice. I was just like, oh, I was just watching people that I know. You know, I didn't label them as man and woman. But then, you know, if you think about it, there isn't that many female speakers in this industry that are, you know, very public, and they're doing amazing work in the background, but they're just not coming to the foreground. So I think it's our own self-sabotaging reality. It's not that. So actually, probably men are thinking like, we're not trying to block you at all. Like, you're just not speaking up. So I think, I don't know if you agree with that, but I feel like as women, we're kind of more reluctant to speak up and we're self-sabotaging. So we need to find it within ourselves and we need to take ourselves seriously in order to be taken seriously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you on that. I think it is that we do self-sabotage and then we think, oh no, I can't, I won't do that, or there's someone else already doing that.
Yeah.
But we need that, we need to voice our opinions. We need to make sure we are putting ourselves out there. And also just for the younger generation, I've got 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. And, I want them to feel that if they feel strongly about something, that they will stand up in front of people and feel confident to voice their opinion, whatever it may be. And in fact, it was them really that kind of pushed me, because I looked at them and thought, if they've got a presentation at school, they've got something they need to do, I would give them so much confidence. But, what are you afraid of? Do it, you can do it, and really boost them up. And then I thought to myself, why aren't I telling myself that?
Yes.
So I kind of turned it around on myself and thought, right, I've got to do it. If I'm telling them to do it, I've got to lead by example. So I'm going to just put myself out there and go for it. And you've got nothing to lose. And actually, with the whole women, why can't we help each other and build each other up? And there's enough space out there for everyone. And when you work together with people, amazing things happen. And everyone has different qualities. You can bring different things to the table, and it can actually be really exciting. So rather than fighting against each other, why can't we work together and get where we want to be?
Exactly that. And you'll find that this is the space for that. I only invite women and men who are part of this mission, who do have that same attitude and who are like-minded. This is exactly what this show is about. So if you feel like you're watching this but you're not seeing it as a reality, I had a client once who, she would see one thing online and it was all quite dark and gloomy. She was like, oh my God, did you see that post go out? It was, oh, everyone jumped on it and everyone, I was like, no, I actually didn't see it, because I've trained myself to see. I'm not saying I just live in like rainbows and fairyland and I don't only see the positive, but it is about reframing the world that you're in. If you are male or female, if you are in a job you don't like, if you are surrounded by people that you don't get on with, you need to reconstruct that reality. And it starts with that personal development. It starts with that internal talk, like you just said, Siobhan. It's how you speak to yourself and how you would speak to your children. Like, you wouldn't speak to your children the way you speak to yourself. I love that. I don't have children, but I can relate to that. I can really relate to that. I'm actually that for my mother. It's the opposite way round. So my mum is scared of the mic and the camera, and she's in a people to people business as well, and she wants to do more. And I'm like, but mum, you've taught me all this, and you're amazing. You're good at this, and I'm trying to like give her confidence and courage, but she just didn't grow up with that. It just wasn't. It's just not natural to her. So you do have to get outside of your comfort zone. And I know, no, it's not natural to pick up a mic and just speak, but you just have to practice, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do. And also it's just being self-critical as well, like, watching back videos and so on, and trying not to pick holes in yourself. I think that's really, really important to do as well.
Brilliant. Well, listen, I have absolutely loved hearing your journey, your story. I ask the same question to all my guests at the end. And in the spirit of what I call positive pollination, which is, this has been super positive. Your show will be hugely positive to people listening, but let's spread that. There's no point just us sitting here in a room just talking to one another. How can we spread that? So the question is, in the spirit of positive pollination, who's that one person that you would love to see on the show that you would be inspired by and that you think would also make a big impact to people listening?
Well, there's a couple of people. I think, the news that came out today, I mean, I know this is going to be shown at another time, but Jacinda Ardern has, is going to step down, and she's, the female president of New Zealand. wouldn't it be amazing to have someone like her on the show? She's doing exactly what I would hope most women and men could do, or will do. And so obviously that's one.
Wow, Linda, if you're listening, come on board. I'd love to have Linda. I never even thought to reach out to someone like her. Wow. Well,
Why should
hopefully.
not have a bit more time on her hands now that, you know, she's done.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Hopefully, I can hashtag her and she'll find this. Okay.
And there's someone that works within our network. I work for Open Work Partnership. So, and she really, really inspired me a while, a couple of years ago before I set out. And it was because I could see someone that I could almost see, a bit of myself in her. She was female, similar age, blonde hair, and she was a business owner at the time. I was an advisor in another practice, and she was so inspirational, and she seemed such a leader, and really she just oozed this infectious, like, positivity and encouragement. And it's Sarah Hogan from KBA, and still now she's just doing amazing things, and she is someone to really look up to. And I think you should bring so much to your show.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes. I mean, I am surrounded by these people, and I enjoy following exactly the people you've been messaging. I know exactly who you're talking about. However, this is what this show is about, is to bring those people together, because I am taking for granted that just because I follow you and I follow Sarah, everyone else is as well. And actually they're not feeling the same energies that we're feeling. So thank you for nominating them. I'm sure they'd be delighted to know that, because I will be dropping your name in and saying the lovely, if you want me to. So of course you can share it with them. Once your show is live, you can obviously send it to whoever you like. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I really hope that you one day can see yourself to be someone who's just as brave as Siobhan is, whether it's on the show or just on social media, or just even the way you talk to yourself. It doesn't have to become public, right? You don't ever have to put yourself out there if you don't want to. But at least the one thing, the highlight for me from this show has been, is how you talk to yourself. And you wouldn't talk to your kids that way. So yeah, talk to yourself like you would to a child. I think that's what I got from here. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Rosalia.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.